Good morning, Main City Rotary. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing today? Good, good. So we have Walt today with her.
Yes, I had the invitation. I would say if you get a minute today, say a quick prayer for the Stancils. I know that they'd all appreciate it. Probably do you some good too. So, this is, I'm not a big reader of prayers or anything, but this is something my minister shared with me. It's a poem by Henry Newman, so you can't just kind of be quiet for a minute and really listen. Listen to what God is saying to us. You are my child. You are written in the palms of my hand. You are hidden in the shadow of my hand. I molded you in the secret of the earth. I have knitted you together in your mother's womb. You belong to me. I'm yours. You are mine. I've called you from eternity, and you are the one who is held safe and embraced in love from eternity to eternity. You belong to me, and I'm holding you safe. And I want you to know whatever happens to you, I am always there. I was always there. I'm always there. I always will be there and hold you in my embrace. You are mine. You are my child. You belong to my home. You belong to my intimate life, and I will never let you go. I will be faithful to you. Amen. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The things we think, say, and do.
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, our Sergeant at Arms report. All right, sorry.
All right.
It's our new member hazing.
There really wasn't somebody signed up with me, was it? We have two guests today. Dennis Marcotte has a guest.
This is Chris Neal, and he's going to just tell us a little bit about himself. This is his second visit. I'm born in the Triad, but grew up in Hickory. Went to UNC Chapel Hill, and out of college I spent 6 years in Charlotte with Bank of America, and my wife and I moved last April to Greensboro, and I'm with Scott Insurance across the parking lot.
And then Bobby Christensen has a guest as well.
This is my good friend Hal Sharp. We went to college together. Former Rotarian from Rocky Mount, but he now lives in Quebec City, Canada. And once comes to America, he stays at my house. Yeah. What about the kegger last night? We had cooking homemade beer.
We also have two visiting Rotarians.
All right, so two visiting Rotarians.
Richard Needham from the airport group. And Mike Poyen from
Thank you very much. So birthdays and anniversaries, Guy has them today. Again, looking for a volunteer, or you may get randomly tapped each week.
Randomly made. First member birthday is Sarah. Her birthday was January 24th. Blake was January 22nd, and Dennis was January 29th. Who else here? Hold on. You just Blake.
Blake is today.
What that?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Blake. Happy birthday to you.
Blake and Hunter's birthday club all went in together and got just for the day.
Nice.
Member anniversaries for Kevin, 2 years. Kevin. And Danny Farley has a wedding anniversary, 21 years. That's on the 22nd, that's today.
We're all singing a happy anniversary song. All right, so a couple of announcements. First, let me say a big thank you to Sean, who has just agreed to step up and be the Shadow Day chair for us. Yeah, thank you very much for that. As we all know, Randy had back surgery last week. Sounds like it went well. I mean, Jim, do you have any other updates on?
No, I just had to tell him he looked really good in that hospital gown. It really suits him. He's doing well.
Okay. So yeah, keep him in your thoughts and prayers as well. I'll scan this and send it out. But one of the group events that the Rotary clubs are doing in Greensboro is the Meals of Hope. So it's the mac and cheese meal packing event, which will be Saturday, February 21st. So again, I'll send out the flyer. They're actually using Sign Up Genius, so I'll find the link to that and include it when I send this out. But they're going to be doing, like 100,000 meals that day. So in the morning, it's going to be Rotaract volunteers, and then in the afternoon, Rotary volunteers.
And we have our Interact group is going to participate.
Yep, and our Interact group is going to participate, and they're very excited. So we know at least 5 of them can do it, but they have 15, so we need to get more there.
I did it 1 year, and if you haven't done it, you need to do it. It is amazing. They will get 100,000 meals done in like 6-7 hours. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of good camaraderie and everything else.
Yep, looks like a great time.
It is.
Just a quick note, next week is Club Assembly. And I think there's one specific thing we'll talk about more next week that we're going to talk about here in a minute, but also wanted to let people know there's been interest on the board in engaging in a strategic planning process for the club. So I think we're actually going to do this kind of in the second half of the Rotary year. So certainly board members involved, Dan and Chris, Randy's been very interested, Sarah's been interested, but certainly if you're really interested in engaging in that process, let me know. We'd love to have some club members who aren't on the board involved, and we'll certainly get a lot of club input along the way. I think I'll probably do a survey, but we'll also keep coming back to the club as we're going through that process. Let's see, so I guess if you want to turn the camera. All right, and I have one Rotary calendar left. Surely someone in here would love this Rotary calendar for $15. Excellent. Excellent. Has the picture. Here's has Tom's picture of us at Pinkstock. So. All right, thank you very much. Let's see, and Cheryl David, if you want to come up. Oh, wow. So because membership is so important to Rotary, they have started a new program to recognize sponsors. And so, since you have sponsored Paul here, and since you're not wearing your Rotary pin today, so the pin and then the blue disc that
You wouldn't re-get that, would you, Blake?
All right, so thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. Sorry.
All right, so Dan, we're doing new member talks today, so is there any particular?
Happy dog.
Happy dog.
Sorry, all right.
Let's see if we can get more. Let's get more than one.
Buster says he's not doing, sorry.
And I need $100.
You know, in Rotary, we're always on the, we associate ourselves with being on the end of serving. Well, I was on the end of receiving, and this was just a tremendous blessing. We had a plumbing fail over at our lake house sometime early in January. The neighbor discovered it because water was pouring out our bathroom. Not up to the windowsills, but it was coming out the walls. And he called me and went in, he said, you know, there's a pipe burst, and so he called a plumber, and then the plumber got there and said, you know, this is really bad, you're gonna need a carpenter. He said, I'll call a carpenter for you. So he called the carpenter. The carpenter came, the carpenter said, you know, all this water is going down the ducts and the cold air return, you're gonna need a HVAC man. So he called the HVAC man. And so by the time, so by the time I got down there, you know, this was right at quarter end.
You're going to need a banker.
Well, my house sits on a hill, you know, so, but,
The lake's too full.
when I got down there, there were 6 persons I had never met inside my house, cutting out carpet, taking things out. They ordered a pod, and it was just amazing. So, I mean, it's been a little bit of a work. If you look at my Suburban, it's filled with all the soft goods. You know, I'd have to go through laundry and stuff like that. But, you know, nobody died, no pets were lost in this, everything's fine. So it's just tremendous to be on the receiving end of this from 6 guys that I have never in my life seen before. So it's just tremendous. So the bad news, there is the bad news. If there is a bad side to this, Sin Dunn is the writing agent.
Taking notes? Give me $5.
No, you give it Sin Dunn.
I'll take that.
Well, I want to thank Buster for letting Trotter Brothers do some more work.
Yeah, man. Oh, and also there's an office available for rent on Patterson Street.
Get yourself a dollar, put a dollar. And then, as y'all know, my mother passed away a couple weeks ago, and I just appreciate all the support and condolences that everybody in this group has given me. She was 85 and passed away in her sleep 3 weeks ago. Thank you.
All right, mine is a shout out to, we had a JDRF family conference at Grandover last Saturday. Had over 600 people there. We had the run of the hotel, and it takes an army to be able to take care of everyone there in terms of breakout sessions. Dale Meltzer was one of those people. She spent the entire day there. I think she had 5-year-olds. I know she still has hair. I don't know why. She did a tremendous job. Kelly Harrell with Grandover, great service. We had the run of the hotel. I think we rented about all the rooms in the place. So it was just a beautiful venue. It was a great event, and everyone walked away really fulfilled in terms of their knowledge of diabetes and a little more nuggets of networking with families that do have diabetes, especially those newly diagnosed families. So it was a really wonderful event.
Yeah. All right. This morning, this is a shout out of sorts. As y'all know, I'm involved in a charity called Enduring Gratitude. This little picture book from last year. This year, we're taking it from 74 veterans that we will honor for a day in the field. It'll be breakfast, sporting clays, 5-stand, and a live pheasant tower shoot. And for those of y'all worried about the pheasants, only about 30% of the pheasants actually get shot. The rest of them get to go live in the woods. You know. But the ones that do get shot get clean and they get home in a bag with veterans to cook up and eat later. And this is a thing to honor wounded veterans. It's focused on North Carolina veterans. We can't guarantee everybody's a North Carolina veteran that's there, but that's who we target. If they bring a friend, we don't turn anybody away. Our opening speaker is Porter Halliburton this year. This happens on February the 7th. Porter spent 7.5 years in the Hanoi Hilton. I'd like to say John McCain spent it with Porter Halliburton because Porter is one hell of a guy. I don't know John McCain. But we got this quick email from a veteran who was there last year, and he said, this weekend at Beaver Pond Sporting Club was a great reminder and reassurance that everything I have done and that my brothers in arms have done is not in vain. I know that if I could do it again and my injuries would let me, I would do it all over again without a doubt. Hunting and being out in the beautiful American outdoors with fellow patriots and true Americans is more therapy than any doctor could ever give me. It is something that I will never forget and will always look back to when I struggle in the future. Thank you so much. I will never forget it. So that fellow was in a wheelchair. We made sure he participated in every event, mud, the whole bit. He was a wreck when we got done, but he went along. And we consulted to take care of him. Sean has participated. Sean was a veteran. That's pretty much how we met him, through Kelly Harrell, and he participated. So anyway, we have no employees. All the money that is spent on this, and we need 10,000 shotgun shells, 400 sausage biscuits, hats, T-shirts. Hats are required, goggles are required, you have to protect everybody. We have licensed shooting instructors, we have dog handlers, we're gonna clean 500 pheasants, we hope. It's an expensive day. It would cost one veteran, if he went over there and bought this day in the field, about $750. We're doing the whole thing for 100 of them for about $45,000. And we're about 20,000 raised. We've got till February 7th. So if anybody would like to, I'll be standing out front, or out back, or wherever that is out there, and I would love to talk to you about it if you think you're interested in helping us. Thank you. Oh, you want a dollar? Yeah, that might have been. I'm sorry, it's not more. I didn't have any change.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that might have been a tour, but that's all right. Good call.
All right, so it's not actually a happy dollar. I'll be missing the meeting next week because my brother-in-law is having his second chemo treatment, and I'm going up there to help watch the kids. And so they had a neighbor lined up who backed out, which is not very nice of them. But he's a stay-at-home dad, and so they have two kids, a 5-year-old and an 18-month-old. So they will be leading the meeting next week. So.
Oh yeah, we're going to do all kinds of new stuff.
So just want to let you know.
Erica. As of this morning, I am 26 pounds lighter.
All right.
May I ask if anybody dropped these glasses? I found some glasses on the floor.
Yeah, we knew that they were the Gloria Vanderbilt. Well, Grandpappy always said, you know, if a man says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And he doesn't need to be reminded every 6 months about it.
Every 6
All right, so.
New member talks. I know you guys hear us say it's our favorite time in Rotary, but it truly is. Nobody ever wants to go first, so I'm just going to say, Jeff, would you please go first and tell us something about yourself?
Let's see. Well, where do I start out? I grew up in L.A., so many years ago I met my wife at a party, and first time I ever met her, and she said, where are you from? And I said, L.A., and she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, Lower Archdale. And she went, oh. And then, chased her down. But, grew up in Archdale, went to App State. A lot of App guys here, and moved down here after college and started working, and then let's see, I am the area director for a company called Into Publishing now out of Wilmington. Right before this, I'd done a lot of marketing, advertising. Before Into, I worked for a political consulting group out of Atlanta, so I covered North Carolina, did a lot of political races. My family's pretty involved in politics. My dad's in the legislature. My sister worked for Congressman Coble for a long time, and so not get into politics, but now I do something completely different. Politics can be a dirty business, but what I do for Into is I work with very affluent neighborhoods all across the country. Here it's Star Mountain, Irving Park, Lake Jeanette, and we do little, we help the residents do their own little newsletters. And we've done a story on Mike Conrad with juvenile diabetes. We've done a story on Danny Farley, their family. I don't know why. They're our neighbors. Is Ralph here? Is Ralph gone? Did a story on Davis. I'm trying to think of who else lives in Starmount here. Mike Slane. I think we're going to try to do a story on one of Kelly's places he likes to go hunting with one of the Irving Park residents. So that's what I do during the day to stay busy and feed the family. And then just some other things about me. I write songs, I play guitar, been to Nashville, written some stuff it's been in a little bitty on a soundtrack of a movie. If you want to hear more about that, I'll buy me a drink later. You gotta buy me a drink for that one. All the cool stuff, like to say, buy me a drink, I'll tell you more about that. Let's see, what else? Should we talk about politics, App State, songwriting. 3 kids. My oldest is getting married. She lives in Wilmington. She teaches at a charter school. Middle child is a sophomore at Grimsley, and our youngest is 6th grader at Kaiser. And
Didn't you buy a drone and fly it over Sunset?
oh yeah, we did. Actually, a good friend Kelly and Ralph and myself.
That's a drink.
A guy who just Washburn in town, and I always wanted to see what the Christmas lights look like over the neighborhood. And Jess came over there and right down the street from you and flew it up over the neighborhood. And I actually do have an article coming out, even though you're Sunset Hills and we're Starmount. We're doing a story on the Christmas balls because your Christmas balls have spread like all over town. Yeah. And one of the things this is a little off the subject, but your son did a TEDx talk for Greensboro that was really good. And one of the things he said that to tie it into what we do is our magazines or newsletters, they help neighborhoods turn into communities, a lot like everybody really loves the, you ask Mike or ask Danny what they think about the magazine. I don't want to talk about it too much, but what the Christmas Balls has done in Sunset Hills, it really gets people talking and gets them connected and is an icebreaker for people. And it's raised, gosh, I don't know what y'all have raised as far as money, but it's over $100,000 and all kinds of food. It's unbelievable. So we're tickled to do a little story on that, and I'll make sure I give you guys an extra copy of that publication.
So there was a drone and...
Well, so Jess flies the drone up over the neighborhood, and he just takes some, and he can do a video, but for the magazine we need pictures. So he took some pictures, flew it around. It's just a cool thing. I mean, Kelly's been with him. It's kind of like better than advertised because you're sitting there watching the drone, and through his little iPhone, you're getting to see, bird's eye view, squirrel's eye view, whatever, of all this cool stuff. And, it's just a cool thing. And so thanks for that, that whole thing you do. That's it.
Paul, you want to go next?
Sure. Why not? You able to get me?
Are you going to do it right here?
Is that all right?
Sure. You can come up front.
All right, all right.
So you get the microphone?
You can if you'd like.
So again, Paul Zucchino. I moved to Greensboro about 10 or 11 months ago to work with Cheryl. But a little bit about my past and my current situation. I'm married, just over 5 years now this January. So my wife's a teacher. She's a 2nd grade teacher at Simpkins Elementary, which is just off of 40 Lee Street down there. So I spend a lot of my time grading 2nd grade math. I go over there and help out every once in a while, which is actually a lot of fun. It's a good change from the day-to-day doing what I do. My schooling, let's see. I grew up in Raleigh, spent my high school years there, graduated from Enloe High School. Went down to the College of Charleston in South Carolina. For some reason, I got the bright idea that I would graduate in 3 years. So I've regretted that ever since. Came back up to Raleigh, went to law school at Campbell. Spent 1 year in Bowie's Creek, 2 down in Raleigh. Really enjoyed that experience. Excuse me. The experience. And once I graduated, I knew that I wanted to do estate planning. So I got out and did a couple of jobs with smaller firms, got some experience and fortunate enough to find Cheryl here in Greensboro. So ever since, just been doing that. That's about it. Yeah.
How does one decide that estate planning is what you're passionate about?
Okay, fair enough. Good question. Well, in law school, initially I thought I would do criminal law or litigation, something like that. Obviously, not the greatest speaker in the world, so I looked more towards transactional practice, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So, second year law school, I ended up volunteering for a wills clinic down in eastern North Carolina and really enjoyed it. I enjoyed working with the elderly, which is probably why I like Rotary so much. I redeemed myself. But I've really grown to love the area of asset preservation and Medicaid planning just because there's such a need out there for that information. And I do enjoy working for the elderly and helping them through a difficult time in their lives. So I've enjoyed that tremendously. And I guess I do want to say, I meant to say earlier, I do have some experience with Rotary, not a group, so to speak, but I had a family member who was a member when I was growing up and in high school and offered me a tremendous opportunity to go to a different country on foreign exchange. So I'm very thankful for that opportunity, learned a lot, changed my worldview, and really at that age, 17, changed my life.
Where did you go?
Brazil, Sao Paulo. So it's a lot of fun. I learned a lot. But 2.5 months there during the summer was a great experience. Yeah, I learned Portuguese, but I forgot it. So.
All right, now go sit again. All right, so before we introduce our last lawyer, Abraham Lincoln used to like to go out and take his cabinet during the war and see, he'd go as close to the front as he could, and he would carry his whole cabinet. A lot of them did not like to get that close to the fighting. And one night they were all in camp, and Lincoln was telling a story, and he said, I dreamed that I was in hell last night. And one of his cabinet members said, well, Mr. President, what was that like? And he said, pretty much like this, a bunch of lawyers sitting by the fire. It's all out.
True story. Thanks for the story. My name is Ab's mom. I am originally from Vietnam, not Chinese. Not Chinese. Just want to make sure y'all know. My family decided to move to the States in 1992. So we get out of the country, went to a refugee camp in Philippines, living in a refugee camp for about 8 months or so. We got sponsored by a non-profit organization in Alabama. So we moved to Alabama and stayed there for about 3 or 4 months before we moved to North Carolina. Before we moved to North Carolina, we just kind of living in a slum in a way. We moved to North Carolina because my aunt is over there. She's over there for about 3 or 4 months before we moved to Alabama. So we decided to move over here to North Carolina and stay with her. I have been here in this area for about 22 years or so. Went to elementary school, high school, and middle school and high school here. I went to a directional school, Western Guilford. Went to UNC Chapel Hill for my undergrad. After graduation, I moved back here and decided to go to law school. I mean, I love this area, so I decided to go to Elon Law. Got my law degree and graduated and passed the bar. Currently, I'm doing a little bit of, I'm working with mostly Vietnamese immigrants dealing with a lot of immigration issues, family law, and try to get into a little bit of criminal law. I like to challenge myself, so I even though my English is it's not great, I try to improve it. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing criminal law right now. I like to get up there. I like to talk to people. I like to challenge myself. Still single. No girlfriend. I mean, if you have a daughter, just and that's one of the main reasons I joined Rotary.
And we're all
Looking for our dollars then.
Like she said, I haven't introduced myself to you yet, but I lost 10 pounds. Since December, so lost 10 pounds in 1 month. Been doing a lot of exercise. Interest. I like aquarium stuff. Anything related to fish. I like fishing. I like going out to the lake. I like having koi in the house. I have my own koi pond. And last year I won a championship in a koi show. So koi is my thing. You want to talk to me about fish? Come to me. You don't want to come to me and talk to me about criminal law, so. What else? I like mountain biking. Do a lot of mountain biking in the spring and summer. Not in the winter; it's too cold. Fishing. I like fishing. I think that's that. And yes, that's about me. Thank you, Dan, for the invitation to this club, and thank you guys for accepting me as a member of this club. And that's it. Do you have any questions?
Do you still have family back in Vietnam? Do you ever get back to
I do.
visit?
I have been back there 2 times, twice. Last time I was back there was in 2002 for about 3 weeks, and 2010 for about 3 days. So, yeah.
How does one win a koi championship?
Well, you go up there and you
take your fish.
You take your fish, or you go up there and you buy your fish.
Fish
and
show instead of a
it's
dog
all about
show?
your eyes, you know. Like if you see a fish that it's about. If you see like a hot girl. Put her in there. So it's like
We may have stumbled on why Alex is not married.
it's the same thing. It's
fishing in the wrong spot.
yeah. If you see a nice person, put a big piece of yourself and you put some and I want they have 6 championships out like 200 or 300 fishes.
So I'm just wondering if this is a new opportunity for Bobby's company to expand into
The president, I was just telling my friend, the president of Westminster Kennel Club, who is a very wealthy man, he does koi. He's the same thing. He loves dogs and dog shows, and he does, I guess you call it like a fish show.
Yeah, fish show.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
So you gotta watch out for the hawks, right?
We do. But nowadays, since I love my fish so much, I have a little pond in my garage.
I went hunting with Alex and Dan last year. We had a great time, but I just wanted to thank Alex and Paul and Sean for bringing our average age down so much.
I'd invite Robbie over to your house because he's known for cats.
I was thinking about running cat shows and fish shows.
And dog shows.
Pig in Alabama.
All right. Any other questions for Alex?
Anybody know where Howard Coble is living now? Somebody, my friend here knows Howard and wanted to drop in on you. Catch up with that.
All right, so who did not buy a ticket?
got 832.
Oh,
That's the wrong.
I didn't buy it.
I'm giving it to you. Okay, Emily.
All right. I don't know how much is in the pot, but we don't have many
Well,
cards
whatever it
left,
is.
so. Nope.
Nope.
All right.
Good try, there you go.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful week.